It's getting harder and harder to find true Texas native plants, especially the rare ones. But this nursery, one of my favorites in town, tucked into Northwest San Antonio, specializes in the natives that nobody else is growing. Today we're visiting the Nectar Bar, a small but mighty nursery run by Drake White, and one that's redefining what's possible for native plant landscaping in Central Texas. We're gonna walk through some sun-loving showstoppers, deep shade survivors, pollinator magnets, and you'll leave with a few ideas for what to plant next, guaranteed. And if you happen to stop by in person, if you're local or visiting, make sure to say peace, love, and butterflies at checkout, and Drake will give you 10% off your purchase.
So a few things that are quite popular right now, especially as we're coming in through the spring and going to quickly come into the summer. People ask for things that may be blooming when we're 500 degrees.
Yeah.
So two popular things, liatris. It's something that is very, very drought tolerant. You can literally plant this, water it in, and just let it go. It just wants you to pet it and tell it it's pretty. That's it. We have 4 different species. We have 2 available right now. But it's nice to know that they're available now because these weren't so quite readily available. And what was readily available was the corms that you could get that are native to the northern part of the United States that here, they don't grow, or they'll grow a little bit and then they just die out because they're not native to here. We're way too hot for them. But these are native and very extremely low maintenance, but they stand out in your garden. They will stand out and be a showstopper for you. They bloom in the summer, so late spring you'll start seeing it pop up. Looks like grass at first, so make sure you always label your plants because you could pull that out thinking that it's grass and it's actually your plant. So make sure you know where your plants are. But even though it's full sun, I have it in my space. Both spaces where these 2 specific species are literally right next to a sidewalk and the road, and the other one is on the other side of the driveway and the sidewalk. So it gets heat radiant all day long. And the border around it is actually river rock, so it's very hot. I don't ever water it. I watered it when it was put in and never touched it again. And that's how they like to be treated. So knowing that, and there's a lot of people that want to have good garden spaces, but may not have necessarily the time to tend to a, cottage type garden. But you can actually build that with great native plants that don't need or require any of the attention that those gardens would need. Another one that I would like to point out here, this is lizard-tailed gara. There are several garas native here to Texas. And then there's bee blossom gara. So they look similar, except bee blossom gara will get every bit of 6 foot tall. This one will stay more at a height of about maybe 2 to 3 feet, and it's very narrow. I love these because, one, they're really unique. The flowers aren't so showy, but the plant itself is really showy. And I like that. It's delicate, but powerful. But this is also a host plant for the white-lined sphinx moth. So if you have it, you're providing good habitat for everybody, for the pollinators, which are sphinx moth, but also birds will eat them too. So you're providing food for something else. Let's come over here and talk about some shady plants. One of my favorite plants is this western marble seed. It is actually a full shade to dappled shade plant. It will bloom these delicate little white flowers. I love it just because it's simple. It's simple, but really pretty, and it will actually spread out for you. So it comes about 2 foot tall, and it'll get about 2 feet wide, but then give you baby plants over a period of time as well. Very, very low maintenance. So plant it also and just kind of ignore it. If you're looking for something that's more ground cover, this is Greg's Drummondi. Hummingbirds actually love this even though it's lower to the ground. It will spread, and so make sure that's something that you actually want because it will...
In shade?
In shade. It needs full shade. Frostweed is my favorite. One, because it takes full shade to dappled shade, but it is the main nectar source for monarchs when they're migrating during migration time in the fall. So it blooms in fall. It'll start blooming late August into September, and that's the perfect timing for when they're actually coming down and starting their way into Mexico. And since we are the funnel through Texas down to their Michoacan roosting place. If you have this, even if you didn't have any type of milkweed, you will be a roosting stop. It's highly nectar dense, which helps them fatten up and carry on to their journey. So they'll stick around for a couple of days. They'll hang from it just like jewelry. It's unbelievable the way that you'll come out and just be like, wow, okay. Another thing that I love about that plant is that it's a host plant as well. So you're getting double benefits. It's nectar and a host plant. So it's getting used by the border patch butterfly, and then it's also being used by the monarchs when they're migrating. So it's a double win. Some other things that people love are things that are evergreen. And who wouldn't love something that's evergreen and ever blooming? So here we have 4-nerve daisy. This does great full baking sun, heat radiance. It's tolerant of anything, and even in pots. So if you don't have necessarily a garden space, you're in a garden home or you're in an apartment and you want something evergreen and ever blooming, never have to cover it. If we're gonna get a freeze, nothing, like you just leave it there, water it maybe once every 2 weeks when we're 500 degrees, and then just leave it alone and enjoy everything loves this. Bees, butterflies, and it's always bringing you something. And then if you want to make those colors really pop, you can blend it in with some mealy blue sage. You could put this in maybe in the center and then have a couple of these around. And as the bee is telling me, yes, it agrees. It'll help each other with the color pop right off. So it'll give you some really good contrast between the two plants, but also bringing in, and hummingbirds absolutely love this. Another one that we could talk about, Greg's Mistflower, butterfly crack. So this is the Greg's Mistflower with the bluish purple flower. We have another one that's fragrant Mistflower as well, and that can do full sun to full shade and anything in between. But that flower is white, but also attracts so many butterflies and bees. This one needs full sun. It'll grow in shade, but it won't flower. So the purpose of the plant is for it to flower and provide the nectar that's needed. So this is definitely one, but if you have a dappled shade or shady spot, the other one is what you would need to be able to produce the same type of flowering effect. But that one, fragrant Mistflower, can do full sun to full shade and anything in between and flower the same. So it's just knowing what you have, what space you want to work with, and what you're trying to provide. And we can help you out. That's what we love about having people come and they don't know. We can guide them to what they would need. First thing we always ask them, what space are you working with? Do you have full sun, full shade, or all of it? And that way we can kind of guide them and then allow them to choose what works for their spaces. And one of those plants really too is right over here, the Flameleaf. This is one that I love because it also is a host plant, but it's also great for hummingbirds. Bees, butterflies, everything enjoy it, but hummingbirds will literally fight over it. So I always suggest at least having one. If you're able to have the space, have two. When I say that, that's because this does get big. It'll be every bit of 4 feet tall and 4 feet wide at maturity, which is typically about year 2 to 3. And it's a host plant for the Texan crescent and the crimson patch butterfly. So you will get caterpillars. It's a 2-for-1. This also is a very low maintenance. So if you're one of those folks that don't have a lot of time, but you want to provide and you want to, do things for good habitat, you could plant this, water it in, and never touch it again, and it does not care. It thrives on neglect. And your first 2 years, you wouldn't even need to trim it. And then after that, when it goes dormant, when we have a real freeze, then you just cut it back to like 6 inches and it grows right back to the same height that following year. So it's a really great low maintenance plant that you can put in, and you can have instant gratification, where some of the plants that you may not have, like we'll walk over to our milkweed, you'll get instant gratification with the Flameleaf. But milkweeds, native milkweeds, these are ones that are great. You must have if you're trying to provide habitat and food sources for the monarch butterflies. But milkweeds require patience. It's patience because, one, when you get this home, typically when you plant it, in 2 to 3 weeks, it's going to look like it dies. And it didn't die. So don't ever pull out any plants, but specifically your milkweed, because it's getting its roots in. And when it's getting its roots in, it can't do anything for you above ground. And this is typical for the first year, as it will sit there and then it'll grow and then it'll look like it dies. And then it'll grow a little bit and then it look like it dies. And it could even go as far as not showing you anything above soil for a year. You'll think that nothing has happened. You might want to try to plant something, and then the next year it shows you everything in all its glory. So when I say patience with some natives, this is definitely one of natives that you would need to have and practice some patience with. But once you do, you will be rewarded with the benefits of everything from nectar to providing the habitat and the host plant for the monarch butterfly and the queen butterfly. So it's two different butterflies, two species that rely on this plant. So it's not just one. Milkweed is very important for the ecosystem for both butterflies. And so if we come and we're talking about different types of shrubs and trees, creating good understory is always important as well. With me, I tend to, and how this whole thing even started, were pollinators. But I quickly started to learn that with pollinators came in the birds. So in order to have a good ecosystem, you want to build the good understory so that there's different levels of habitat for everybody. And with that, you can start out with evergreen shrubs like the sinizos. What we have here is hop trees. Hop trees are a good Texas native tree. It can do full sun, but it can also be understory and be shaded as well. It just won't get as tall. I love it because it is a host plant. It is the native host plant for the giant swallowtail, the eastern tiger swallowtail, and the two-tailed swallowtail. So all three use it. So it's a much needed tree. And even though that those are really big caterpillars, they don't devour it. So I have yet to have any of them devour it. If you have citrus trees in your habitats, growing oranges, lemons, limes, you'll also get giant swallowtails. But if you notice, if you have that and you have this, they'll actually prefer this. So some other understory trees that we have and provide are hog plums, which provide different little berries for the birds and things as well, and as well as American beautyberry. So I love this. One, it has the highest chemical makeup in its leaves, even more than citronella, as a mosquito repellent. It is a natural mosquito repellent. This tree grows in the shade to dappled shade. It will get pretty little pink flowers like right now. It's starting to bloom out right now. And then all the way through the summer, it starts getting green berries that by the fall and the winter turn a really dark, rich purple. They're absolutely stunning. The birds love them. Another one that I like to use that's great in full sun to full shade, but I would like to concentrate on the shade portion of this, is the coralberry. I love coralberry. And if you have a good space that you need for it to just kind of spread out and do its thing, coralberry is great. It is another one that you can just neglect. You can plant it, water in, and leave it be. It is the host plant for the snowberry clearwing sphinx moth. And they will devour the plant, which will actually make it grow even more. These do like to create little thickets. So over time, it will give you baby plants, or you'll happen to see one little arm kind of sprawl out, and then it'll attach to the ground and make yourself a new plant. If that's something that you don't want, just, snip it off, and it's easily controlled. It's not gonna, eat your whole yard. But it's great also because in the fall and winter, it's providing bright fuchsia berries for the birds. So there's food in the winter for the birds, which they need. And it's also a very attractive plant, and it doesn't grow too high. It only gets about maybe 3 feet tall, and it'll get about 2 to 3 feet wide. So that's a great plant as well. Then we'll come over and we will talk about the false indigo. So this is also a great full sun, but also can do part shade. When you're looking up certain trees or certain plants, you really have to investigate on their actual needs. Because if you were to look this one up, it'll say it needs wet feet. And it doesn't. It just means it can tolerate those wet feet if we were to get like a monsoon. I have this in full baking sun. It gets good heat radiance up against a brick wall. I've watered it once, and that was when I planted it. And it's been happy ever since. And we're in pretty good droughts these last few years. And it does really well. And a cool fun fact, Native Americans use this as dye. So this is another really great tree. This here is Flameleaf sumacs. There are several sumacs that are native to the whole United States, but also native to Texas. This one here is Flameleaf sumac. full baking sun. Sumacs are great also for birds. They will also eat those berries. There's fragrant sumac, and then there's evergreen sumac as well. So evergreen sumac can do full sun to full shade. And then this one here, it can handle some dappled, but I typically tell folks, yeah, this one needs full sun, but this one will be much shorter if it's in a dappled shade area. But it's one of my absolute favorites. If you want color in the fall, this is the one that you want because it is just fiery red.
Big thanks to Drake White at the Nursery Bar for letting me in for a visit. Her nursery really is such a gift, I think, for anyone looking to grow more resilient, beautiful, creative, and wildlife-friendly landscapes in Central Texas. So if you're local to the area or visiting, be sure to swing by the nursery. And don't forget to say peace, love, and butterflies for that 10% off. And if you want to learn more about Texas native plants and how to use them in your own landscape, I've got a whole series of videos just for you, including tours, how-tos, and Texas native plant deep dives. I'll link a few of those videos in the description below. All right, y'all, until next time.